Doing?
All right. Well, thanks, Alice. Happy to be here and excited to talk to you about all these projects that we have going in our land development business. So, this first project is in Fox Creek, which is actually right here in Nashville, in the northeast section of Nashville in Gallatin, Tennessee. It's not actually over here, so sorry about that, but it's actually right in here, right above the N in Nashville, and part of the MSA of Nashville, which is extremely highly desirable market. Cannot seem to get enough builder demand there. Sorry, get enough supply there because there's so much builder demand. So in this particular project, it's about 40 acres. It's a horizontal development project with single family homes, about 132 lots in this one. And we have this contracted with a company called Shell Brothers, which is a top 30 national home builder, actually based out of Maryland. And they're very big in the Tennessee, Nashville market. So this project, it's going to take us about 18 months to build the horizontal and then about 36 months to sell through the lots to the builder. We intend to start this project Q3 this year. And we're super excited about it. So here are some of the details of the metrics and financials of the project. And as you'll see, we have quite a large profit per lot, which is the mathematics are, the price per lot that we're buying plus the construction cost per lot, and then the delta between the sale price per lot and those is our profit. Now that's obviously just a gross profit. There's a lot of fees and expenses, and of course, equity expense and things of that nature that need to come out of this gross profit margin, but it's extremely healthy. And these are the types of deals that we look for in these markets that are highly desirable markets where there's a low supply threshold and a high builder demand for this particular type of product. So this market in Gallatin, Tennessee is a higher end market. Obviously, the builder's paying us a larger sum of money for the lots, and they intend to sell more expensive homes there. But this particular market in Nashville and in the northeast section is very, very desirable. When I spent time there, it's the type of community where any one of us would enjoy living and owning a home in. It's beautiful homes, beautiful surroundings, and very close proximity to Music City, Nashville. So that is our Fox Creek development in Gallatin.
Okay, very.
This next one is in. It's funny. We in Kentucky they call this Versailles, although the rest of us call it Versailles from France. But in Kentucky, it's Versailles, so that's what we're going to call it. And it's right here in the suburb of Lexington, a very affluent suburb of a very affluent market in Lexington, Kentucky. This is where all the horse racing and a lot of horse money is in Kentucky. And again, very desirable, very low supply market and very high demand market. And those are the types of markets that we try to pick. So here's some details on the project. It's a horizontal land development project, just shy of 300, so 298 lots. And this is going to be 30 months from beginning to end. We have this particular project, we have 3 different builders signed up, and that's how we're able to sell through the lots quickly. We have a custom home builder, a local custom home builder, D.R. Horton, and also Fisher Homes signed up to build this community out with us. So here are the specs and details, again, on our price per lot, construction cost per lot, and then the average sale price per lot. And so it hits our, minimum threshold is usually around 20,000 per lot for our profit. And this is very healthy at 26. And it has a very nice gross profit for the time frame that's projected to go through. Now, I want to point this out. This is important to note. On the total equity needed for the project is about 4.7. And we're really only raising about a little over 2 million, because the other 2.7 million is being brought to the table from the builders, and they're putting down a deposit on the development. which really helps mitigate our risks in the project, that they are coming to the table with that much deposit and equity in the deal that is non-refundable and released to it to use during the construction and development process.
Mm-hmm.
So that is our Paynes Crossing development in Kentucky. Next one is in Florida. Oops, sorry. On the East Coast, called the Treasure Coast. This is in the Vero Beach, Sebastian MSA in Fellsmere. Right on the 95 corridor. It's about 15 to 20 minutes to the beach. So very desirable area, but not in the high-end coastal market that's right on the coast. It's just inland enough, just west of the 95 corridor. So it's a little bit more affordable. And again, very low supply in this particular market and very high demand from builders. This one we have contracted with NVR, Ryan Homes, top 10 national home builder. And the business plan and thesis that they have on this one is to develop affordable homes for that market because of its proximity to higher end homes where they're typically in the $500,000 to $600,000 price point. Our community is going to be in the mid 300s, 350,000 or so. And as we look at the numbers, you'll see that in the sale price, we're only getting about 100,000 per lot here, which allows the builders to, build $350,000, $370,000 homes pretty easily and hit that price point in the market. So this was 210 lots, and it's all just being taken down by NVR, and that'll be done across a 30-month timeline and horizon. Another one that's going to start Q3 of this year. And again, the important metrics here are the price per lot for the purchase, construction price, and then the sale price, which again is yielding us a fantastic profit per lot margin and a gross profit margin that hits our threshold of profitability over a given time period. Again, here to note that total equity is almost 3.5 million, but we're only raising just shy of 1.3, the balance of which are all builder deposit, and that's really, I think, what's pretty interesting about these projects are how much builder deposits we get, which allows our equity to be in a de-risked position relative to the overall profit margins of the deal. So think about, in order for this equity to be in trouble, we'd have to lose almost all of our profitability. 6 million of profit would have to evaporate overnight, which is simply difficult to imagine, given that we have an agreed upon sales price up front and agreed upon fixed pricing from from our site contractors for the construction cost. So it's difficult to imagine that much profit being erased during this 30-month time period. So these are very safe investments that we get ourselves into, and they're leveraged really well and intelligently relative to the capital stack.
Okay.
All right, next project is in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, Blue Ridge, which is again, northeast suburb of the DFW market. This one, a similar story to Fellsmere. This North Dallas market is absolutely exploding. It's super expensive. You're talking about $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 homes as entry points in places like Frisco, McKinney. And so Blue Ridge is just enough removed where you can commute in and be in that 30-45 minute commute range to get into that market, but again hit a much more affordable $300,000 price point for the finished homes, which allows for great absorption for that particular product. So when you hear about some of these oversupply issues we have in, say, Southwest Florida or in Texas, it's really a specific market and a specific product within that market, and oftentimes even a specific builder or two that have oversupplied a specific type of product. So we like these markets and these product types because they're hitting the biggest part of the pyramid, the biggest part of the affordability pyramid, which is the lower tier, where there's the most demand and the lower price points. That is the product that gets absorbed the best, and all of our market studies absolutely show that.
Mm-hmm.
So here are the specs on this particular deal: about 59 acres, single family home, horizontal development in DFW market, 271 lots. Again, about a 30-month timeline, kicking off here next quarter in Q3 in about 3 months from now. So this one, again, your sale price per lot, very healthy at only $95,000 a lot, which allows the builder to build, in that $350,000 price point very comfortably and deliver a very desirable product to the market.
Mm-hmm.
So again, our profit per lot target is very healthy here, and we hit a nice gross profit margin on this particular deal as well. So these are all kind of middle of the fairway, if you will, deals for us, and how we try to structure these deals in terms of the profitability per time period, and also over the equity needed. So again, you'll see that we've got over half of the equity coming in from the builder. This is a DFW project with D.R. Horton, and so the builders again bringing in over half the deposit money, and we just bring the rest of the equity. And so we're in a great leveraged position here in terms of mitigating risk on this particular price point. Again, very affordable price point for this market.
Okay.
All right, so next project is back to Kentucky. This Shelbyville market, which is kind of almost in between Louisville and Lexington, more commuter market to Louisville, but Louisville is really expanding eastward down this corridor. And these two MSAs, Louisville and Lexington, are really trying to grow together, kind of like Dallas and Fort Worth that we saw in the last one. Very nice bedroom community here. Again, highly desirable, easy to commute into either of these metroplexes of Lexington or Louisville. A little bit closer to Louisville, and again, this is about affordability. You try to get inside these beltways around these metroplexes, and it's very expensive. You get a little bit farther away where you're only, again, 30 to 40 minutes in to drive in, and you're able to hit a much more affordable price point. This one is even more affordable. Only $68,000 is what we're selling these lots for. So this one's a little bit of a lower profit per lot than we're used to. But again, we like the market, we like the affordability, and we like how quickly we're going to sell through 235 lots to D.R. Horton on this one. This is a worst case scenario. We also are in discussions with another builder. This one's probably late Q3, so this one's probably 4 months out. But we have another builder that we're working with on this that's going to potentially come in and hasten that timeline and drive that profitability up, because we're going to be selling through these lots that much faster. So this one is one where we did entitlement and horizontal development. So a little bit different here, where we're taking the raw land, getting it entitled, but not bringing in any investor money until we have it fully entitled, fully shovel ready, and ready to transact. So that's a little bit of what's affecting the profitability here as well. But it's just such a fantastic land position, and we're getting it at such a good price per lot here that we feel really comfortable and confident about this. Again, this is an absolute worst case scenario, selling lots for this low price. This would allow builders to actually build homes closer to the high $2 to low $320,000 price point, which is simply unheard of. And that product, as quickly as they build it, it just sells through in these markets. And so we really like this absorption story here. And again, if we get that second builder on board, we are going to drive this profit margin up and decrease the project duration substantially.
Mm-hmm.
This one, again, 2/3 of the equity is coming in from the builder, and we're just coming to the table with needing about 1.3 million equity in this one. So that feels good relative to our gross profit, and we feel like this again is just a fantastic opportunity in one of these secondary markets that is not understood and doesn't have some of these macro issues relative to supply demand imbalance. This one is actually undersupplied, and again at a price point that is extremely affordable. So we know the product's going to absorb very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this brings us back to Texas, back to DFW in Decatur. And we have another project that we're finalizing and want to bring to the table and bring up to you guys. So this one is in the northwest corner of DFW. Again, same story as the one that was over here in Blue Ridge. It's just far enough outside the Metroplex to get an affordability quotient, but still 30 to 45 minutes in to hit anything that anyone wanted in terms of jobs. But, at a couple $100,000 less for the home here than any of these other markets. So again, you're seeing a $100,000 lot sale, which is allowing the builders to build, $350,000, $370,000 homes, which for the DFW market, extremely affordable and is going to absorb really, really well. This one is just a horizontal development. It's a big project, 460 lots, which is why we have an extended duration here of 50 months. Again, we are in discussions with another builder to come on board in addition to D.R. Horton to take lots down. So this again is a worst case scenario on the timeline and could potentially cut this timeline down substantially to get closer to that 36-month timeline that we like. But again, if you look at the price per lot, the construction, and the sale price, you get a very healthy profit per lot margin and just an amazing gross profit here for the timeline, especially if we're able to cut that timeline in half. This is an absolute grand slam of a project. And again, if you analyze the investor equity needed versus total equity versus gross profit, extremely favorable financials here, where we're getting almost $5 million in equity deposits from the builder here. And again, raising $3.7 million against a $14 million profit margin. So these projects are great profitability, great protection, great risk mitigation in terms of how we structure them.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you, Shane, for the summary. So what's your overall outlook on the home building industry, given that you have specific projects with these really healthy margins? Are you still feeling very bullish about this space?
I am. Yeah, we feel very bullish about it. Long term, we're in a little bit of a blip relative to the housing supply. Macro perspective, the housing shortage is very real and it's very acute, especially across the Sun Belt region. So we feel really good about especially the projects we have in our pipeline, because they take 1 to 3 years to materialize, and then another year or two to build out. So we're talking about projects that are going to take from right now in 2025, they're going to be projects that won't end until 27, 28, 29 and on. And so the horizon that we see here is extremely favorable. And we really like how we're entering these projects, how we're mitigating the risk, and the fact that the builders also see that we are in a snapshot of a moment in time in single family housing, but that the big picture is one that calls out for much more housing demand. I think you see that in all of the projections as well for the national home builders and the publicly traded stocks. I think it was listening to a podcast. One of my great economists, Dr. Peter Linneman, was asked if, given his prognosis for the home building market, single family homes over the next 5 years, if one should just pick any of the top 10 national home builder stocks to buy and just sit on it, and he said basically yes. That would be a fine investment strategy right now because of where we are in the cycle and where he sees things going. And we echo his sentiments from a macroeconomic perspective.
Okay, great. Yeah, and certainly seems like the home builders are still coming to you with lots of demand for the land development. So there's no slowdown whatsoever.
There really isn't. There's the great macro picture here. And what we see in the short term is that we have an acute problem in just a few markets where some builders overbuilt a very specific product type that is more of a move up and more of a mid-tier, call it 400 to $600,000 profit. I'm sorry, price point. And that product is overbuilt right now in some markets and is seeing a lower absorption, which is why you're seeing headlines about builders having to give incentives to move product and builders having to sit on a little bit more inventory than they would like. It's a very specific product type that is that they're sitting on right now. And so I think they're learning from that. And we're seeing a lot of builders go back towards more of this affordable product, which we know sells faster, hits a bigger swath of the market, and just has a better absorption rate.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Shane. We always appreciate your insights.